Hey gang, Chip Glennon, welcome back to our video blog. Today's topic is I have a piece of land and I would like to maybe subdivide it or develop it and sell it. What should I do? So I get a lot of questions from clients and past clients and people who are just thinking about potentially selling their land or their farm, and what are their options as far as maximizing the value or getting the most return on their investment if they're thinking about selling it. So this can be quite an in-depth topic, but I guess just to kind of keep this in a few minutes or less, what I want you to know is it depends on your property whether this is economically feasible or even possible. So certain pieces of property, some parcels definitely are things or pieces of land that can be used for high density development, but a lot of them are not. And so it's going to depend on how close you are in proximity to the city limits of a community, whether your property lays a certain way for the sewer to gravity to a forced main, and if that sewer is in proximity to your land, we've got to make sure that the water lines and other utilities are available and they're strong enough to service the number of rooftops that might be able to be put on your property. There's other considerations with civil engineering and off-site improvements. So oftentimes, and just yesterday I met with a client that has a really nice piece of land close to the city limits that he'd like to develop or potentially sell to a real estate developer, but there were some certain limitations, and one of those would be the road accessing the property certainly isn't in condition to handle the type of traffic that would come from a development that size of 50-something acres. Just by and large, you can fit about 2.5 to 3 homes per acre on a developable piece of property, and that's the key word, developable. So that means that the infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, the fire and police can service the community properly, and that it can handle the amount of traffic that would get created off of that. What we've got to understand is when a developer invests in a development or piece of property, the most affordable part for them is the ground, buying the land. The more expensive parts are adding sewer lines, water lines, gas lines, streets, sidewalks, all the different infrastructure pieces and off-site improvements. If you run a lot of, let's say you put, on 50 acres, you could put potentially 100 to 125, even up to 150, depending on how the land lays, homes on that piece of ground. Well, you add that much traffic, say 2 cars per household, to a county road that doesn't have curb and gutter streets and it doesn't have proper storm water planning and things like that, it can create a whole plethora of problems. So, things like stoplights and turning lanes and those sort of things can cost $250,000. And so that alone can make it economically unfeasible and cost prohibitive to develop a piece of land. So there's lots of factors involved, and every piece of property is a little bit different. There's high density development, country state lot development, commercial development, mixed use development. And so when we analyze a piece of property for a client, we're looking at all these factors, and my job is to determine the highest and best use of your piece of property. And sometimes we have to pull in experts outside of me, such as civil engineers, whether it be county planning and zoning people and city planning and zoning people, just to get a good foundational idea of what our best way to approach that is. So just a few things for you to think about if you've got a piece of property and you're really considering potentially selling it in the near future. Those are some things you want to get educated about, and be happy to help you out with that. No cost or obligation. That's one of the things I really enjoy doing, is helping people through those sort of decisions. So appreciate you watching our video today. If you have other topics that you'd like to send in, please do. We'll make sure that we shoot you a video on that and get some great information out for everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.